Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, those that are joining us here in chat today. Thank you so much for joining us. It is May 2nd, close to Star Wars Day. Yes, a fan. Anyways, we are ZENcast Live. What is ZENcast Live? It's basically for anybody that's even interested in ZenWorks, but tailored to administrators and users of ZenWorks products. And today we're going to be analyzing ZSD lifetime logs. So last week we did some ZCM logging, and this week we're going to do some ZSD logging. So let's take a look a little bit at some of this, what's going on today. Again, ZenCast Live is for ZenWorks admins and the ZenWorks community. It's the first and third Tuesday at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, North America. You can find all of the details and recordings for ZenCast Live out on the open text support and training site. If you didn't know it was there, it is there. You could see down here under the IMNG, we have Unified Endpoint Management. So we have all the ZenCasts. We have, if they're related to ZenWorks, they'll also be in ZenWorks Service Desk, Microfocus Connect, or hybrid workspaces. So you could visit us out there if you're watching the recordings. Okay. A little bit of house cleaning. Be sure to log into YouTube. You can then chat with us online. You can subscribe to notifications. The best viewing is auto 720p 60. Video recordings will be posted immediately after we conclude this presentation. And you can check the description for links and references, and comments and likes are always welcomed to make sure that we're on the right track for content. Coming up to our tidbits and crumbs. These are the latest TIDs that have been updated or put out there, just in case that you happen to be falling into these particular issues. So how to collect logs for ZCM Advanced Patch was just put out there recently, I think yesterday, and then some others that were out there this last couple weeks. Also, do know that the ZCM beta is starting soon. That's out on the community site. If you're interested in that, be sure to email zen@microfocus.com, and we'll be sure to add you to that participation list. Also, the ZSD beta is starting soon. We should have a blog out there in the next week or two. And then note that you could go out for UEM patch feeds. You can always go to this site and see what the patches are by being able to select patch, ZenWorks Suite, or any of the other products, the version, and do a search, and it'll then come up with those particular patches. All right. There's other things out here. There are monthly webinars that are occurring, and here's the recordings. And if you want to register for those, you can register here. All right. Again, let me go ahead and make sure that I can post today's presentation as a PDF so you can download it and follow along. I'll go ahead and put it in chat so that you can download this presentation. So you have the links. Today's presentation. And we'll hit go. Oh, I got to do it this way. There we go. All right, so feel free to download today's presentation, which is on the left-hand side here. So you have all these links. All right. Also, be aware that ZCM 2020 Update 2 ends life support, standard support, ZenWorks. If you go out to this page and you go to Configuration Management 2020, you could see that Update 2 ends April 30th, this last month. Okay. Now we do have extended support, and we're happy to help you get to where you need to be, which is Update 3. Just let us know that you need to get there if you're having issues or anything. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that particular ending date. All right, there's also Gardner UEM quick questionnaire if you're interested in being on the Gardner. The public beta is going to cover for ZCM 23.3, which is update 4. The beta will focus on the key capabilities Azure AD, enrolling managed Mac OS devices and Mac OS MDMs, patching Mac OS devices, and patching Windows devices in an air-gapped environment. All right, so there's some new things you can test prior to its release. Give your feedback. We love your feedback because it really helps us see how you exercise it and what we may have missed in implementing that particular feature. They anticipate starting on Wednesday, May 17th, followed by weekly calls through approximately mid-June. So it'll be a good 6-7 weeks. But an appointment will be going out May 10th. Okay, so be sure to sign up if you're interested in doing any of those. You don't have to do them all, just one or two if you need to. Any feedback is helpful to us, and email us at zen@microfocus.com. There's a couple of points down here to make sure you have a MicroFocus account. Make sure you can log into the ZenWorks 2020 update site in SLD, and then there's the email address down there again as well. All right. Let's recap a little bit about last week. We talked a little bit about deploying the Microsoft Store applications from a ZCM standpoint. So Craig Wilson, Backline Tech Support, came on and displayed for us the way to do that, to actually deploy the MS Store apps through ZCM. Done. Yeah, I can't remember when the new patching process starts in ZCM 2020.3. The old one will carry over to 2020.3, then you disable it and you add the new advanced patching. There is a ZENcast on that. If you want to look back a little bit, there will be one on that. Darren came aboard and actually showed us that particular process. So thanks for reaching out, Don. I hope that answers your question. And of course, the beta will also cover that in individual steps that you can actually exercise. All right. So yes, we did a quick demo of two apps. He gave us a brief discussion of Winget, which he uses as one of the tools, and example bundles can be downloaded. So there's some links in here that are still live, the community article about that, and installing the Microsoft Store applications using bundles, and then some sample bundles to download. If I click on this, it's going to download them. So you have these links in this particular presentation, so feel free to use those. It's what Craig put together. All right. And so just shout out for those that are listening on the chat. We do have, I'm torn. I was going to go for ZenWorks remote control next week or next time, which would be May 16th. Or we could do, I haven't done the ZCM 2020 Update 3 Windows upgrade. So put it in chat if you feel there's a particular one that excites you, and we'll demonstrate those. I realized that one of my Windows primary servers wasn't upgraded to Update 3 yet, and I thought we'd take advantage of that. So if you're out there in chat and you prefer a particular method for next time, either ZenWorks remote control, seeing all the features and so forth, or going through the upgrade, and we'll do remote control later. Just throwing it out there. So, and if you're also listening to this recording, feel free to put it in the comments. Be happy to tailor to either one of those for next time. All right. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to be doing the ZSD lifetime log analysis. Okay, the benefits, the tools, results files, what comes out of it. We also have a download for the ZSD logging XML. Last time we did logging was a ZenInfo, and I had a tool that I used was Notepad++ with a language file that would color up the page nicely because of trying to find particular things in the whole log, right? Because sometimes it's hard to weed through that. So I had an XML file, language XML file for Notepad++. I have the same for ZSD here, and we'll see how that goes as we move along here. All right, so There's a couple types of logging. There's email logging, which is separate from system logging, and we'll go through those as we talk about it now. Let me go to, these are all, I think I have, nope, not that one. I probably have to log in. I thought I had a separate one available. I do. It's this one. All right. So if we look at email logging, this is set up. Email's working. We have a particular group-wise instance running. I'm going to log into, and if there are any questions along the way, please shout them out. I'm going to log into an area. I'm going to go ahead and create a new mailbox or a new email. And I'm going to go to the network team, and it's going to be router down. Please help in IDF 32. That's 23, let's say. All right, before I send this, first we're going to go over here. We're going to look if we're at server and we hit test. You want to check the log of that test. You go into the log here. And you can see I'm logged in as Roadrunner. All right, and Roadrunner came through email configuration is successful. So once you've established a successful email system, right, connection and transaction, I'm going to go ahead and send this email. And I have my polling set for every minute, so it should come in just a moment. And it should create a new request. And I think that one will be an instant, but we'll wait and see as it takes off. So basically your email logging is in the email setup, a separate tab called log, okay? And that's where you'll check that. Now you can do other things in this log. You can see just inbound. You can see just outbound. You can see just errors. All right. So if we go to all, we can see that here's our configuration successful. So you can see that there's transactions happening already. Monitor system, which is a user I logged in. I sent router down, please help. You can see that it's assigned to service desk, and you can see transactions happening. And it also replied, it's sent back out to that particular user that we have received your service desk ticket. And so you could see the transactions that are going on. This is basically logged in the database, so it's not so much a log that you can pull off for the system. This is an internal log. All right, so that's the email log. If there's any questions, please shout them out. Okay, Don, thanks. All about remote control. Cool. I can always do the update 3 later. We'll see what the results are, but that's what I had planned was remote control. Okay, so there's our log and for emails. Now we go to the logs for the system. All right. Of course, when a technician logs in, if he has administration rights, right, he'll have this setup here, which is this system setup. All right. If he doesn't, he won't. He will only have these particular logs in here by seeing who's logged in and the system itself. All right. What statuses are going on? What transactions are going on? What processes and so forth. All right. But if he has supervisor or administration rights, he can go over to setup, and you could then go to reports, and notice you have the login and you have the system, but you also have the log here. Now this is the log of the system itself and everything that's going on. So again, not including email, but if there was an import happening or some type of query of service or LDAP, you'd see these come in. So you can see ISD, let me go a little bit bigger. This is partners is a group for LDAP. So this is all LDAP. It tells you how long, how many LDAP users for the group came in and so forth. All right. Now, going back to the user, I said that if they don't have administration rights, this is all they have, right? Where was I going with that? Let's see. Setup, reports, log. Oh, I was going to go, there are things that happen for the technician. If they have the rights, if there's an LDAP, oh, we don't have it listed here. Yeah, they have to have administration rights. So if we go set up LDAP, let's go ahead and do a user source sync. So now you see the alarm here. That'll tell us we had an ADS import, gives us the results. So you can see the results here. And again, if I go to user, I don't have that alarm, okay? Because that alarm is just for the administration setup. If you get an alarm here, it's for something that occurred in here, like updates or alerts for outages and things like that. All right. So again, having administration or supervisor access, you have access to these reports, and this is the report. Now you may want to export this. Now I put in my slides, these are the export items that come in. You can view here, setup console, right? You can go to the administration console. So let's go out to the same one, 192.168. Oops, hang on. 192.168.187:9443. So we'll go to the appliance administration console. And you can go to logs here. The nice thing about this view, again, you have to have rights into this, either root or SD-admin. But the nice thing about this is the actual files. And if you're looking for service desk files, like lifetime, it takes you directly to that path. So every once in a while I'll forget the path, and I can just go in here and see what the path is if I'm doing the CLI, the command line interface, right? And then you can obviously open these up if you wanted to. It does do the last 100 loads by lines by default, okay? Notice there's an FTS stats log. So these are the things that are in this particular folder. All right. Now, the one thing to know is that the export is the best. All right. So let's go ahead and export real quick. We have an export. We'll show in folder. It'll show up over here. Let me archive this or extract all. And it should be quick. Boom. Done. Let me drag this over so you can see it. All right. Again, these are the things that are in here. The nice thing about this is instead of just copying, pasting, or going into here and grabbing the file itself and downloading, is this particular list comes with other things. You could see the license. Okay, so we could see that the host name, the IP address, what version it is, right? The other thing you can view is the lifetime properties, which is you now have a database listed here. So when you send files to support for your service desk, do the export because it gives them more information on what's going on in your environment and the view of your environment. Okay. And then it has other things like FTS stats log, which I've applied a particular FTF to this particular box. So it actually has a log of that. And then it has, of course, the lifetime logs. Okay. Now you could view the lifetime logs here like this, and you can do edit, find, in looking for certain things, right? I recommend using Notepad++ with the language. So here it is in Notepad++. Now, if we want to view add the language, which you can download from my list, I'm going to go to the lifetime log. It pretties everything up, okay, and it really makes it nice to view. I'm going to pull this out, put it over here. Yeah, I need to go to, nope, not there. Okay, I was going to test, oh, I know, it was right here. So an example of the Notepad++ language file. So let's go and let's view, we'll go down to the bottom. You can see we have completed here, roles. Let's say you're looking for L1 Tech 5. All right. You can go to the language, user define your own language. If you select that language, lifetime log, and you can select different styles. So for instance, any error is going to come up red in this particular font. Any, I did errors first. Second is database, synchronize some actions. I do in blue. Okay, and so forth. Each one has a different color. Green is success. 4 is additional processes. So if I wanted to go and say L1 Tech 5, okay, and I close this out, L1 Tech 5 has now been highlighted in white. I should have had that different. Language, lifetime log, define. Styler is foreground color is white, background blue. Didn't give me that. Oh, yeah, it didn't give me that. Let's go user or base DN. There we go. Now it's blue. I don't know why it did white. Notice the base DN now lit up in blue. And it's also a different font, Calibri. Okay. So this is very handy. Use it how you need to for your environment. But and feel free to download the XML and just modify it as you need to. But I find the Notepad++, there's other tools out there that do similar things, but this is just something I used while I was in support in Sense. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with this particular lifetime XML file, the language file. So I tailored them to different things like remote control, so it focuses on remote control for ZenWorks. I focus this one on lifetime log so that I could pull those things out. All right. So it just brightens up to be able to find what you're looking for a little bit easier instead of weeding through all the same colored text, right? Black, white text. I do have a few errors in here, which is I have an LDAP code. So this is back in April 30th when I was doing some tests. I was doing some tests on bringing in digital error and its users. Okay. So you can see here, there's no email address defined for L1 Tech 5. So if we went over to our users and we go to our users, L1 Tech 5 is in here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. Search L1 Tech 5. No matching. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, here's the email that came back. So you can see that the email was processed to the network team. Let me go back over to here. Oh, it didn't come in. So for instance, there was no email address and it did not come into service desk. That's why I can't find it. There's a 4, there's not a 5. So we'd have to go back over to our service desk, which is actually over here, and log in And if we go to L1 Tech 5, go here, we'll search L1 Tech 5. There he is. You can see there's no email address. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to L1 Tech 4 and make sure I get the syntax correct. So we'll take this C there, 5, apply. Organization, we have a manager there, that's good. Profile. So just comparing a couple things. We're going to select OK. So now we're set for the completion of the user in the domain. Now we'll go back to sync up our LDAP again. Nope, user sources. Sync. And if we look in here, we can see it's been done. Now, here's our earlier one. And I'm looking, notice we had one error on a customer. And we have Roadrunner has denied a role because they have supervisor and they automatically get technician. And then license limitations. Okay. So that could be Tech 5 may not come in. Oh no, one came in. So added. All right. So if we look back over in our users, we should have a Tech 5. All right. Yay, we resolved that. So we can actually say he gets requests and incidences and save that. All right. So that was a little bit of an examination of the log file. So let's go back to the log file. Reports, log. This will show, if we go to the bottom, should show the sync. All right. Here's the customers. Here's partners. Here's finance, managers, technicians. All right. And it all synced in fine. Got some errors here. All right. So if we go, let's see, we're here. So this is the lifetime log that we examined. Let's go back over to here. Of course, this is the old one. We've corrected this issue. We should see if we download or export again, we should see that this error goes away. And I got this repeatedly because I have every day I have it sync up. All right, at midnight. All right. So these are the errors. This is where you can pull out and use those words that are you may be looking for, and it might help you examine those. Those are the lifetime logs. Now let's look at we saw the lifetime properties. Okay, it gives us some details on version, gives us some details on the type. Service manager is ITIL, the Postgres database, and then the license properties. So we can actually see if we're talking the same apples to apples when we're talking with support. We can make sure that we have the right loaded file. If we go to 160, we can see there's an alarm here, there's an SLA breached. But you could see that this is different than this is a different system, but Roadrunner is still an administrator or supervisor. So I have these alarms when I'm in the technician portal, and I have these alarms. Well, there's no alarms yet. Let's go ahead and do a user source sync. I have them syncing to different groups. And you can see that this is a different alert. All right. Okay, there is one error in here for customer. Probably an email address. Let's look. Not there. Email is not set up for this particular server. So these logs are really insignificant. You'll see everything's failed even though it's trying. The email harvesting is not set up. And that's basically what it does. It harvests from an email. It has its own email on the system called Service Desk, and it harvests from the inbox and then sends through that mail system. All right. So we're back to our setup. We exported our logs. We have another set of logs though. Hang on a second. Let me get those. We have the session import log. Let's go open with Notepad++. So we can see there's some errors in here on importing. And being able to extract those. Let's go ahead and change our language to lifetime log. And we just have the errors. I don't have it designed to look at the import log for particular things. Haven't looked at this log recently. Schedulers, because this is a scheduler log when it does its import every so often, right? It's on a schedule. Let's go over to asset import. This actually shows you all the different components and how they're configured, whether it's software, or what components, the workstations and system and so forth. So this is coming from ZCM. So you'll probably recognize these as ZCM tables. And these are the XMLs that they use to extract that data. Okay. This is how you can get residual data that's in the registry or from ZCM into Service Desk so that you can then apply workflows and so forth to them. All right. Now, one thing that I will note is under the system, the lifetime log, notice there's only two archives, two archives. Okay. Once they reach 1024 or thereabouts, it will then cycle over and create a new lifetime log, and it takes number 2 out and rotates. Okay, so it rotates the lifetime log. Well, if you put things in a debug mode, it will create a lot more logs or logging lines, right? Because it's doing more intense tracing on what's going on. You may need to change that from 2 to maybe 5 or 10, all right, by default, so that you'll have more archived logs, so you can go deeper and get more traces, so it doesn't remove the traces that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and do a couple of things. We're going to go to adjust the logging properties file, all right, and we're going to go over to our Service Desk, and we're going to go to get my properties file. So it's opt. We're going to go to the OS. I don't know. We're going to go to the OS and var opt. We don't want var opt. We want to go to the appliance. No, we're going to actually go to, those are the logs. Let's go to File Explorer. Turn this off. And we'll go to opt, Novell, Service Desk, Server, Web Apps. We'll go down to the file so that we can make changes to the properties file, so that resources and down to logging. Okay, right here. It's preparing for download. It downloaded our properties file. And it might be easier just to go into Service Desk. Let's go there. We're on 87. Let's go to 87. And we'll go to And if we go to CD, opt, L, service desk, server, oops, double check what these are. Web, apps, lifetime log, web, live, contents, resources, and then hit enter. And we'll do a cat or VI. VI, and I got it off. Let me move this over so you can see. VI logging properties. Oops. VI space logging properties. Okay, we're now in that file. You could see, let's do an insert. You can see down here that we have 1024. Now, if you do change the size of the archive file, which you could do also, so you could save how many, which is the backup index, we'll change that to 5. And we'll change this to 2048. And that way you can now have a larger archive file, and it'll rotate, it'll have 5 archives with a lifetime log. Okay, so, and then what we'll do is we'll put this in debug just for fun. And typically you wait for support to advise you to do debug, because it will collect a lot, right? Quit. All right, so now, and I think I have to restart services for it to pick that back up. So system CTL service desk restart. I think I got it backwards. Yeah, I always get it backwards. Okay, so now we've completed that. We can now look in the log. Well, we need to refresh this. It'll ask us to log in maybe, but let's look at logging properties. Oh, that's just for the download. That's not the view. Let's go back over here. 287. I expect it will have kicked us out because we restarted. Yep. Log back in. We're going to do a setup. We'll do another LDAP sync. And that's good. So we'll see that that's completed. All right. Now, if we look at that export file, let's go ahead and go to reports. I'm hoping it gave us a lot more. You could see, you can see all the extra stuff it did. Every single thing, every customer, every client and partner, it's given us some debug information, like a lot of it. So let's go ahead and export this. Show in folder. I'm going to extract all. And we'll move this over. There we are. You can see we now have 5 lifetime logs. Okay, the current one in 5 archives. And you notice the size. Okay, and so now you can look at these lifetime logs, and we can see that there's a vast difference. Do language, lifetime log, and we could see where fragment, queries. So I did query as one of them, not null. So this really brings out some of the details as far as what's going on. I had a JDBC connection here. What's going on with this? Okay, and if we go down to the bottom, yeah, the same. So you can see this is all 5.2. But if we look at the file folder, we can see all of these are 5.2. So it had a lot of data that it's coming through. We don't have anything from earlier today. It's all recent. Okay, so that's the lifetime logs and how to read them and what to do in order to check for particular things, status types depending on what your errors you're looking for. You can see it's in debug mode. We can change our language. It's one thing I don't have in there. Define your language. If we go to lifetime log and we put in, let's put in debug here. And then it should show debug. Okay. One thing to note is it will it's good to test on a blank document. Because what will happen is if this is real long, it'll take a while as you type each one of these, because it's doing, when you make modifications to your language, it will, for instance, if I put in incident here, it'll look for every incident. Okay, so now it's pulled in incidents. But if it's real long, it's going to go through the whole document for each letter that you put in here. So either cut and paste, or if it's really slow, or go to a blank document, get it all tuned in, and then it will be easier to get that done. Because I've had some ZENinfo logs that are really long, and it's searching through everything. It just typing each character takes 15 seconds for it to come back and result. All right, just a little side bit there that I've experienced. So we have an upgrade cookbook out there. We have actually both of them, 8.3, 8x, and then the customization cookbook. But the ZSD logging is available out there. It tells you about the email logging. It tells you about the exporting and how to make those changes. It still exists today. This is an older document, but it still is the same. We haven't changed anything. You can see it's 8x, 7x, and 8x. It'll be the same for the new versioning to 23. Okay, so know that that's there. It's available to you. The customization cookbook, if you have instances in ZSD that you're trying to figure out how to do a particular scenario or a configuration setting, look through this list. It has a bunch of TIDs that's very resourceful to you, so that you're able to get what the job done that you need for service desk, because it's so complex with workflows and levels and skill sets and so forth that sometimes it's hard to understand where to go to get the job done. And then I do have the directories down here for the ZSD logs. They're listed here. The images logs, sorry, I keep pressing on that. The images logs, and that is your customizations for service desk. So if you go to customize and you have these images, you have different templates in here, as well as CSS. If you make modifications for the colors, you can see this color has all been changed. When you highlight, when you hover over, when you select, those types of things. That's what we're referring to as the CSS files. So you might want to back those up before any major changes, just so you have them, because you don't want to have to redo those. These colors, I found I'm not a natural for getting the colors in, so I make a backup of all of mine just because it's hard to remember those digits and what color exactly I had. And then the properties file is here as well that we changed. Remember, Linux is case sensitive. So when you're in Linux and you're typing out this particular path, capital C, right? Capital R, because it sees them as separate characters, the upper and lower cases. All right. I don't see any questions out in chat. That's somewhat of what the logs are, how to go about the logs, the two different types of logs that are critical in Service Desk, which is email logging and then the system logs. Be sure to understand the export is much more valuable than just exporting this log, and know that you can change your archive logs so that you can get more out of it, out of the logs. All right, and they don't roll over and you don't have what you need when you're looking for something. All right. I mentioned the cookbooks. This is the 8.3 on how to upgrade. One thing to note is at the bottom of these cookbooks, you have integration slides where if you're upgrading from an older version, you can then see the different methods to get to the next version. All right. And that will help you note what to expect and where to go. For instance, some volume changes here going from 7.4 to 8. Also, you could see that these paths change minorly, but since everything's case sensitive, you have to make sure you know what the paths are. So these are the paths to those files. Change in memory, default port, or session timeout. All right. So those are in the cookbooks. Valuable information in there for you to manage your system and understand different scenarios and documentation. I don't see any questions in the chat. The next schedule, we will do remote control then, and then we'll do upgrade following that. We do have ZSD group templates coming up. How to use group templates with ZenWorks Service Days to automate things. For instance, I was emailing here. I put in the wrong password. I was emailing here to the network team. All right. And if we go over to the request, we can see that the request came in right here, and it's from the monitoring system. And it started in a particular workflow so that it goes direct. So if you have a particular system that always goes to its unique workflow, you can do that through Service Desk. And so that's what we did here is we gave it a unique monitoring system, a unique workflow so that it can be alerted quick, escalated if needed to, high priority if needed, that type of thing. So you can set all those variables in the workflow and in the actual group templates. So we'll cover that next time, or in June. Okay. And if you'd like to see other things, please send them my way, zen@microfocus.com. We'd love to put that on the ZENcast. Don't forget about some of the the webinars that we have monthly. And also remember that we have the ZENcast live schedule out here, on-demand library. Oops, it's over here. On-demand library here. The monthly webinars and the ZENcast schedule. We'll keep remote control on the schedule for Dawn. And if you're interested, all the other ZENcasts are here. The nice thing here is you can look for, if you're looking for, let's say, bundle management, you can actually use your browser search on bundle, and it will tell you, oh, there's been 10 instances of bundle. Which one do I want to, and actually go down through the past 3 years of ZENcast. And most of these are still applicable. So, all right. That's what I show for today. A couple of details on the products themselves. We're currently at update 3. Again, there's links in here to get different details. Hopefully you've downloaded that. We have ZRS 7.8. We're on ZSD 8.3.1. Soon to be released in July is 23.3. And then Hybrid Workspaces 22.9 is released. Actually, 23.1 is released. This is an older slide. Okay, I need to change that. Futures 23.3, which is update 4, will have some cloud deployment options, Azure AD, Mac management, and Windows MDM. be sure to join the beta if you're looking for that. ZRS 23.2 should be released May or June, so that will have some enhanced features, as well as ZSD 23.3 and Hybrid Workspaces 23.3 will come out. And the versioning now is quarter. So 2023, quarter 3, and it's calendar quarter. All right. Some community TIDs and videos of things coming up, community webinars, lookbooks. If you're looking for some details on lookbooks, this is very handy because it gives you different videos if you're looking at what version you are on, what version you need to go to, comparison charts for features, and so forth for both ZSD and ZCM. And then we have a series of hybrid workspaces troubleshooting, training out there as well, and other details about videos. So feel free to go through and peruse through these. These are extra TIDs that have come to mind for different ZENcasts. And of course, the community is out there. Community ideas. Be sure to go out to the ideas and post your ideas. There are other live casts as well. We have our ZENcast twice a month, but there is also Filer the first Thursday, Groupwise Enterprise Messaging the second Thursday, ZenWorks is those webinars on the third Thursday, and OES iPrint on the fourth Thursday of each month. Technology and recording, TTP. We had one in Weiden, Germany in February. We're having another one in July, which is in person, and there will be weekend workshops. So please look into that, ttp.org, thettp.org, and sign up if you're able to attend or register online. And then we had a Bright Talk UAM workspaces message. The next ZENcast is ZenWorks Remote Control. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and I just want you to be safe, and we'll see you on the 16th doing some remote control and remote management. All right, and they have some new things like capturing the actual remote control in a video and things like that. So stay tuned. We'll visit those topics in the next ZENcast. I wish to thank everybody for joining me today and appreciate your time. Hope it was valuable, and we'll see you next time. Thank you and stay safe.